Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. The big game, the return of Serie A is closer than we think, because on Saturday 6 p.m. Juventus is already in San Siro playing against Milan. What a big game, I can't wait for the game. But unfortunately, I'm still not in the mood of that game, because what we will speak about in today's video, well, there are some shocking news, but seriously some shocking news. Niccolò Fagioli, that more I read about it, more I inform myself about it, more I speak with people about it, they're all confirming me that yes, it could possibly be on the transfer market. And also, the problem Dusan Vlahovic, that still didn't renew. Pay attention because we have solid sources on that one. We'll speak about entry mercato, and in the second part of the video, we'll of course speak also about Milan, Juve, because the 3 points are fundamental for Juventus, for the ranking, and for continuing to hope to do a really beautiful season, not only in terms of growth and improvement, but also in terms of maybe hoping to win something big at the end of the season. If you didn't yet, please put a maximum of like, continue to subscribe, and comment, please, because I'm really curious to read your opinion about the diverse topics that we'll go through today. Fagioli, Vlahovic, players that could possibly enter on the mercato, Tagliafico or Chilwell, etc., etc. Now that we did the basics, let's open Corriere dello Sport. And you will tell me, Beppe, but if you start with Corriere dello Sport, you all know that they are not really the best friends of Juve. On top of that, they were really great in terms of relationship with Max Allegri. They were against him being dismissed. They didn't appreciate how it ended the journey of Max with Juve. Of course, that when they have the opportunity to throw a bad news about Juve, putting a bit of shadow, that dark cloud above La Continassa, they are the first one to do it. And you are probably right. So when I'm reading SOS Giuntoli, well, on that one, SOS Giuntoli, it's true. We are really short in terms of players, especially when I'm looking at the players that will be on the bench on Saturday. I'm really seriously thinking SOS Giuntoli is a really beautiful, correct title. Juventus in action, and that's where they are giving me the first smile, because that's what I want. I told you, I want the countdown from 24 to 25. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I want already a player in J Medical. Not because he's injured, but because of the medical test, so that he can go with the team in Saudi Arabia. So I'm happy when I read Juve in Azione. Then idea Tagliafico, and then they are putting the real first big shocking news of the day, Fagioli all'asta. Fagioli is on the market. They're explaining us that the strategies changed after the injuries of Bremer and Cabal, but they're also thinking about an offensive player, especially if Milik will not give guarantees to the Italo-Brazilian coach of Juve, Thiago Motta, and that's why all the roads are leading towards Niccolò Fagioli that could be sacrificed on the market. I tell you, yes, Corriere dello Sport is a page where, when I read it, I always take my time before jumping on the news. And that's also what I did this morning, going on all the other sites, listening to other content creators, to other journalists, Romeo Agresti. I read an article from Fabiana Della Valle. I spoke about that topic with other people. And they are all confirming me. All the sources, Gazzetta, Corriere, Tutto Sport, whatever, they're all going towards one thing. He could possibly be the one that is sacrificing to finance the entry of Juve, because Juventus is looking for 2, if not, and possibly, if they can, 3 players. And that money needs to come from somewhere. A few days ago, we already spoke about some people leaving Juve, like Bangula, an offensive player, but at the end, really, really cheap salary, not a huge value of 8-10 million euro. Danilo, that could possibly leave. Arthur, that could possibly leave, but all these players that will come back on in a second, they are not bringing you that many money to invest on the winter mercato. Look, I always told you there was one objective for the winter mercato, one only, an offensive player. Could have been whoever we wanted, but one offensive player. With Bremer, you needed to go for 2. With Cabal, you need to go for 3 players. We don't have the money. That's a reality. So Niccolò Fagioli, I'm sure that the Juventini will be pissed off to read that news, and you are totally correct. I need to split again. the heart and the brains, because if I'm thinking with a heart, I'm thinking about a kid that grew up in Bianconero. He's a Juventino. He loves the shirt. He wants to give everything for Juve. He refused to go on loan at a certain moment to show himself at Juve, which he did really well, because we all remember from that game of Lecce, that fantastic goal a la Del Piero back then. And his performances, we saw it against Leipzig, we saw it against Lazio, the immense talent of the Italian player. It's a guy that I bought the shirt from, so it's a guy that I'm emotionally linked with. But then I think about it with my brain, and I'm saying, okay, from all the names that we mentioned in exit mercato, who's the one that can bring you plusvalenza, money, profit? It's Fagioli. It's Fagioli, because you can sell him for 25, 30 million euro. 25, 20, even 20 million euro, but all that money goes immediately into profit, because it's a player that it's not in depreciation. It's a player that is still okay in terms of salary, so that means that more clubs have the possibility to go for him. Look, Paris Saint-Germain, we heard the news a few days ago that then was actually in a way cancelled by Fabrizio Romano, saying no, it's not true. Paris Saint-Germain has no interest in the player. Then inside, rumors from Juve, mercato gurus were saying not only Paris Saint-Germain, yes, and also other teams from UK, from England are looking for Fagioli, but also Bologna, that was already on him before the problem with the betting, etc., the betting scandal. Looked like Bologna could possibly go again on the player. Then, of course, will they have the money or not? Big question mark. But other teams also in Europe are on the player, because they know about the qualities. Would it be sad to let Fagioli go? Absolutely yes, because I really believe that it's a player that could play at Juve. On the other side, I understand that financially, when you have unpredicted things to solve, like Bremer, Cabal, and also scared about the striker there on top, you need to find a solution. At the moment, in defense, it's not that you can sell whoever you want, because we are extremely short. Offensively, it's exactly the same story. Where are the players that are actually the most on? It's a midfield. Weston McKennie, Locatelli, Douglas Luiz, Thuram, even have Nadzic if you want. You have a lot, Cope Manners if you want to count him as a midfielder that could possibly play there. You have a lot of players there in the midfield. So I could even believe in the news of Nicolo Fagioli leaving in January. Look, it was something that I said, no, not in January. And if my heart is speaking, I still continue to say, no, not in January. But then if I'm reading all the papers, if I speak with some people, they are all confirming me that there could possibly be something. Attenzione. Pay attention to Nicolo Fagioli leaving in January. It's not over. Then, of course, Juventus will try other things in priority, like, for example, Arthur. There are some interest from Betis, Sevilla, but also from Marseille. He could possibly go there, but with Arthur, with what I experienced in the summer, I will not promise you anything. I will not guarantee you anything. And of course, it's not the player that will be sold. It's a player that will go again on loan for probably 6 months, where we will recuperate a bit of salary, but that's it. A lot, because we are paying him a lot. You are earning, I believe, 5 million euro gross. But that's it. So Arthur, not even sure. Let's see. They will try maybe with Bangula that we were speaking about in recent days, but it's a player that can go with a value of 8 million euro maybe, and you are not even saving a lot in terms of cost. And then you have another name, Danilo. But are we sure that we want to move Danilo in January, where of course you will not be able to sell him, but it's a player that will, again, here also, you will be able to save a bit of in terms of salary, probably 4 million euro gross that you are able to save until the end of the season to terminate the contract a bit earlier. In Brazil, they are really pushing, Vasco, Santos, Flamengo, a lot of teams that are on the Brazilian captain. At Juve, they need to think about it, because of course now you're looking already for 3 players, a left back, a center back, and probably an offensive player. If Danilo goes away, you're even making it shorter and even more difficult, and you are taking actually unnecessary risk there. So I'm not even sure. So pay attention to the names that we just mentioned and we are speaking about. But Juventus, when we are going towards 4 players that are in voices of mercato, well, that leads me to think that Juventus, they want to go for the entry mercato as well. The intention at least is there. But they understood they are obliged to do it, but they cannot do it with so many players on the market. In general market, it's always a difficult one. So they are looking for possible sales. Then today I was also reading Fabiana Della Valle, and it's a journalist that I really believe on one name, more than anybody. It's the name of Dusan Vlahovic, because she was the one of, if not the, I don't know exactly in chronology, the first one to report that Dusan Vlahovic could have come from Fiorentina to Juve, and since that day, we see that Gazzetta dello Sport is an anti-Juve paper more, but they are a pro Vlahovic. When they have the opportunity to speak well about Vlahovic, they do it. When he's not doing well, they try to hide it a bit, in page 17, somewhere below. So it's a page that is really close to Dusan Vlahovic. Great for them because they have the correct sources. But then I'm really scared when they're saying, look, what about Dusan Vlahovic and the contract extension? Interview by Mirko Di Natale. She said, look, it is really vital for Juve to not go towards the same risks as Dybala, as Federico Chiesa. So they need to avoid that. 1 year ago, I did an interview with Dusan Vlahovic, she says, and he says that the agents of Dusan were speaking with Juve and that he wanted to stay at Juve. Now, the fact that 1 year later there is still no contract, or at least not even getting closer from both parts, is not a good sign. She's not saying that he will leave in January. She's not saying that he will leave in the month of June. She's not saying that he will not extend with Juve. She's not saying that he refused to go with a lower salary. But she's really clearly saying it's not a good sign. So also there, Dusan Vlahovic, that is out of the financial parameters of Juve in terms of salary with 12 million euro net, this 24 gross. Pay attention to Dusan Vlahovic leaving. That could be a shocking one, a big one. And also there, she continued to say, what about Juve in terms of entries to finance defenders? Could someone leave? And she said, look, I would not exclude it, and the first name is the one of Niccolò Fagioli. So again, another one that is confirming the name. So who could possibly Juventus go for in the winter mercato on top of all the mega list of defenders that we mentioned in the last few days? The two new entries are Tagliafico, ex-Ajax, that is playing at Lyon with huge, big financial problems. 32 years. When you're looking at the injuries, it's a guy that is healthy, but it's a player that they would sell because they have financial problems. So it's not a player that would go on loan. So it's selling for 5 million euro. That's what I read. That would even be okay. But a player that will not come for 6 months. It's a player that will ask probably a 18 months contract at least, if it's not 2 years and a half. Are we sure to go for the player? It's not bad. Tagliafico is not a bad player. He's healthy. He's 32. He can easily play until he's 34. But is that the player that we want to invest some money on? I am not sure. Then on the other side, if you tell me the other alternative is Chilwell. Chilwell is a player, remember, against Juve, that huge big injury, never came at the level. He's 27, will become 28 in December. He was a good player. At the moment, he disappeared a bit of the radar. Chelsea is not intention to sell him. They want to loan him. And there you need to pay 5 million gross in terms of remaining salary. So 2.5 net. What do? We go for a loan of 6 months for an English player that is injury prone, unfortunately, that is not playing with continuity, that will probably need a bit of time, or you go for a Tagliafico that would be immediately ready, but you give him a longer contract. It's tough. It's really, really tough in terms of mercato. I tell you, the names that will come, they will not satisfy everyone. We will, the formula will not satisfy everyone. We will all be there like, But I think that when you have so much to do, that's probably the only way to solve problems, because we have problems and we need to reinforce our team. But focusing on our game, Milan-Juve, what do we see? That the lineups are more or less the ones that were predicted from everyone. De Gregori into the goal, Savona, Kalulu, Gatti, Cambiaso, then in the middle, Locatelli, Thuram, Conceição, Cope, and Arsilis, up front, Timo Weah. Yesterday there was the training session, because nearly all the players, I believe, except of Danilo, were already back in La Continassa. They were training, and they are already starting to prepare the game against Milan, where one of the players that has been tested as number 9 was Timo Weah, and yesterday in that family game already scored 2 goals. So he's really in big form. He's probably the most informed player from Juve at the moment. Could he play there as a number 9? Yes. I will tell you, The big difference, because a lot of people are speaking, if Dusan is not there, as a falso 9, falso 9. But that's not the case of Weah. I think that Yildiz, if he plays in that position, will probably play more as a falso 9. Bangola could do the same, Koopmans could do the same. While on the other side, if Weah will play that position, he will play as a real number 9, as a real striker, something that he already played with when he was with Thiago Motta. So pay attention for that, of course. Gazzetta dello Sport today, big page about Casa di Papà at the father's home, because they are playing in San Siro, that has been for years the home of Georges Weah. And they are going with that beautiful romantic narrative that if he goes as a number 9 and if he can do a beautiful game, it could be the night where Timothy becomes, for a night at least, Georges Weah would be beautiful. But pay attention to other ex-players, like Kalulu, for example, that I remember not a lot of people wanted. Now he will play against his ex-team. It's not the one that is scoring a lot, but you never know. The goal of Kalulu would be beautiful, or another Locatelli goal against Milan. I would love it. I would really love it for Locatelli. It's time for him to score. Then we have another one that is not an ex, because we are speaking about Kefren Thuram, but his father, Papa, Lilian Thuram, scored 1 goal with Juve. 1 goal only in his entire career in Bianconero, and it was against Milan. That 1-0 to then end the game with a 2-1 victory over Milan. So it would be beautiful as well for Thuram to score that goal. Today, women are playing. Arsenal against Juventus Women will be a tough game because it's an in or out. So let's support also our Juventus Women so that they can stay longer and hoping to qualify to the knockout stages, even if the group is extremely difficult with Bayern Munich, Arsenal, and then Valerenga. Ragazzi, ragazze, that was it for me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Put a maximum of like. Don't forget to subscribe. Grazie, forza. Juve.